So today's practice is going to focus on the side bodies and the inside of the thighs. So in Taoist theory, that's going to be the liver and gallbladder channel. In Western anatomy, this is obliques. And the obliques here on the sides, and then what are called the adductors or groin muscles in the legs. So these channels are running through that whole part of the body. And then in terms of tantric yogic theory, that's going to be third chakra. And emotionally, this is when out of balance, we experience a lot of frustration, anger, impatience. So if you find that that's something you're struggling with, then that could indicate an imbalance here. And then mentally, this is drive, planning, vision. So again, if you're someone who's struggling to have a vision, or you are having trouble executing your vision for the future, then this might be, when I say that, I don't mean that you've experienced obstacles in your way. That may have nothing to do with you, right? What I mean is you just kind of like peter out. You just kind of run out of energy. That's definitely something I've experienced before, where, you know, I want to do something, but then as I try and execute, I find that I just don't have the energy. I just can't do it. It seems so. Again, this is something where the kind of practice we'll do today can be an aid. Mentally, yeah, so we already talked about the mentally. And the best way to think about this is today's class isn't really meant to be an intervention, which means that if when I'm talking about these things, you're like, oh yeah, that's me, that's what I'm experiencing right now. There are other methods that are better interventions. This is better thought of as kind of just like a tune-up. So like your car is running fine, you bring it into the shop, they change the oil, they look at the wiper blades, they rotate the tires, and then they send you on your way. Versus my car is making this weird knocking sound, the check engine light is coming on, maybe it's stalling out. So again, if you're finding one of these things I mentioned is like way out of balance, then from the Taoist or yogic perspective, that might be a good time to go get like an acupuncture appointment or get some other kind of energy work done. And that's, again, the yogic perspective. Physically, just adductors, obliques, in terms of workout, that's what we're going to get here. Strengthen those obliques, stretch those adductors. And again, that's benefit enough to do what we're doing. And so that's why I try and talk in this way. If you're like, oh, I don't believe in all that energy stuff, you're still getting plenty of benefit from a Western kind of workout perspective. But I want to honor the tradition by mentioning these other elements, because I actually think there's something to these other elements. I don't see it all as BS, in other words, but I know that some people might. So just keep that in mind. All right. Any questions before we get into the practice? Okay, usually that's the response. So let's get started. So as usual, we'll start with some mindfulness. And again, this for me is actually quite important, so I hope you're taking it seriously. So letting go of the control that we normally try and exert over our moment-to-moment experience. You do want to make some effort to make yourself comfortable and relaxed, but then you really, hopefully, feel safe enough to really just let go into this experience of this moment, whatever that is for you. So over the weekend, I was experiencing quite a lot of sadness, and that's still with me. And so again, if I am somebody who has learned to repress sadness, and many people have, because it makes other people uncomfortable, right? If a child is crying, a child is sad, the parent might eventually get fed up and say, hey, stop crying, like stop being a baby, like, deal with it, which is understandable. I'm not trying to villainize or demonize parents. They're human. They have limits. But for a young child, that may teach them that the feeling of sadness is not welcome. It's not okay. It's not safe to feel that. So again, it's natural as a human being to experience sadness, that feeling of sadness, and I've been experiencing that. So as I relax now, that feeling, that emotion comes to the surface. So I'm feeling that, I'm noticing that as a big part of my current experience. For you, you might feel something in your physical body. You might notice things in the environment around you. There might be sounds or other things. Again, there might be a different emotion, frustration or anger or guilt or shame or something. So again, it's all welcome. That's the attitude we want to cultivate. That there's nothing off limits here. There's nothing we're trying to push away. Now from there, we'll begin to alter our breathing. So as usual, we inhale belly, ribs, and upper chest, and we exhale as we reverse that. Once you've established this deep 3-part breath, you add or layer on the sound, which is the ujjayi, which is exactly like fogging a mirror with your mouth closed. Then we'll begin looking at the legs here. So we'll bring the right leg in, and as usual, we start with the knee bent, and we're just gently trying to wake up that leg. Now, those of you who have been sort of following my own healing journey with my back and my hips, boy, do my hips and back feel a million times better. Are they where I want them to be ultimately? No, because I'd like to be pain-free. Very similar to how I remember being when I was in my 20s, let's say, where there wasn't pain. I could move and I was just pretty much completely pain-free. But I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. So hip feels pretty good, back feels good. Now, let's begin to bring the leg up. We did this last week where we were stretching the hamstrings out. So we'll start there because the hamstrings and the adductors are very closely related. They are attached, if you will. You could say they share a muscle. And then we'll drop the leg out until we feel the stretch in the inside of the thigh. And that's the more specific area we're targeting today. You'll notice I have my legs straight. I'm holding the big toe, but you could use a strap. You could hold the leg at the knee. You could even bend your knee if necessary. And the left leg, feel free to just put that wherever it needs to go to facilitate the stretch and to be comfortable and safe. Once we find the stretch, again, the methodology is we want to take several slow, deep breaths and give the body and the nervous system time to respond to the stretch. So just like cooking food, right? Cooking food isn't set the temperature to 400 degrees, pop the chicken in and then pull it out and it will be ready. And yet that's how many people approach yoga postures. Like all we have to do is get in the posture and then we get all the benefits. But what about time? All right, let's inhale back to center and we exhale, release back into Shavasana. Both legs for me feel very different at this point. So just that simple stretch has created a palpable, a perceivable change for me. Let's do the other side. So Paul, my yin teacher, was the one who really introduced me to this concept of time. How long do we hold something? And it's not to say that it wasn't there in the yoga tradition, but I don't think anyone, in my experience, had articulated it quite as acutely as he did. All right, let's begin to straighten that leg. So in the yoga tradition, time traditionally is usually measured in breaths. So this is why I'll often say you want to take 3 to 6 slow, deep breaths with a stretch, because that's going to be pretty much the minimal amount of time that's going to give you the type of benefit we want to get from one of these stretches. Okay, let's bring this leg out to the side. Now, flow is different. There is benefit to flow, which is what we call half breath transitions, and we'll definitely do some of that today. But I think most of the benefit in that is both as a warm-up and to create a certain kind of strength, but it's not the only kind of strength we want to cultivate. So I don't really see the point in having a yoga class where you're nonstop just flowing the entire time. And I also question whether or not you can do that safely. I have not seen it. I know people do it, but I'm not sure that they do it safely. I'm not sure that I've ever seen it done in a safe, effective way. Okay, inhale back to center and exhale, release. How do you get a room full of people with different levels of experience all doing the same postures quickly and perfectly? What's the answer to that? I think the answer is you don't. You can't. Okay, let's come on up to seated and let's do a few rounds of cat-cow and tabletop. So that's just my conclusion after decades of doing this and teaching and trying different things and studying with different teachers and teaching thousands of classes. I'm just not convinced it can be done. And so then you're left with the option of sort of like vetting people, checking their poses before class and making sure they know how to do the poses correctly before you allow them to do like a flow class, which I find just isn't very practical. All right, once you've warmed up the spine, we'll come into down dog. So my current method is mixing it up. Not only does that get us the benefit of strengthening both type 1 and type 2 tissue, but it also allows me to teach in a way that I feel is more effective and safe for the ultimate goals of yoga. Okay, let's come into our full down dog here for a moment. And with the exhale, we walk our feet toward the hands. So you can dangle here, you can nod or shake the head, sway the hips. So again, my back improving, but I'm definitely not yet where I would like to be. So if I do this, I can kind of feel a little bit of, I don't know what the right word, it's not exactly pain, but I can feel something is funny. Something isn't, I don't feel completely pain-free there. So more work to be done. All right, arms relaxed. We inhale and gradually roll up to stand. And as I've mentioned before, pain like that can originate from physical problems, but it also can have its root in emotional emotions, repressed emotions. So we want to be open to exploring both, and I definitely am. So I'm always looking out for, is this a purely physical issue? In which case, physical interventions will solve the problem. Or is there an emotional content? And it can be kind of a mix of both. Okay, sun salutation. So inhale, arms up, touch palms, lift the heart. And as always, we're trying to lengthen the front of the body from the pubic bone through the chin. Inhale through center and exhale to a forward fold. So we inhale, we'll come to the fingertips or take hands to shins as we lengthen out the spine. And as we exhale, we plant the hands, step the right and then the left foot to the top of a push-up. Okay. Let's take a deep breath, and as we exhale, we drop those knees and bend the arms and take a breath here. And then exhale all the way down. With the feet together, inhale, lift hands, head, neck, and chest, just using the back muscles. Good. Exhale, come on down. Inhale to tabletop and exhale to the downward dog. Good. Let's inhale to the toes, fill the lungs. Exhale, step, jump, float, front edge of the mat. Inhale, standing back bend. And then adding a side stretch, we grab the right wrist and exhale, hips to the right, arms to the left. Now I want you to look in front of this right arm. You're looking up, so it's going to roll that shoulder back. And it's going to help us target here, because there's a tendency in this posture to do this. Okay, because look at how much further down I can go, right? That's what a lot of people focus on when doing these postures. They're like, how far down can I go? Oh, wow, look at how deep I am. But they don't see how they're compromising the posture. So inhale back to center, and we exhale the other side. So again, not how far down can I go necessarily, but how much length can I create on that left side, right? So this versus this. Oh, look at how deep I am. And I see people doing this in class, just so you know. I'm kind of exaggerating a bit, but not that much actually. So inhale back to center, and we exhale to forward fold. Inhale to the half lift, and then exhale left foot and then the right top of the push-up. Good. From here, we take a nice full breath. Choose knees up or down based on your practice, and exhale halfway down. Take a breath and then exhale all the way to your belly. Inhale, press into the hands, lift the head, neck, chest, abdomen, but keep the hips and pubic bone firmly planted. Good. Exhale, come on down. Inhale, tabletop, and then exhale back to downward dog. All right. So inhale to the toes, fill the lungs. Exhale, step, jump, float, front edge of the mat. Inhale, standing back bend. Exhale, half moon, stretch the right side. Inhale, center. Exhale, stretch your left side. Inhale, center, and exhale as you sit into an imaginary seat, chair pose. Good. Inhale, come all the way up and back, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And if you're able to, exhale right to the bottom of a push-up. Inhale for your up dog, and exhale, taking you back to downward dog. All right. Great work, everybody. Hopefully you're feeling warmed up. I definitely am. Let's bring our feet to touch. We'll inhale the right leg up and back. And then exhale the knee to the ground. And then inhale, raise your left arm up into a modified side plank. So check your right waist and lengthen that side of your body. Check the shoulders. Try and stack that left shoulder above the right. Check the chest. Make sure the chest is open to that left wall. Check your gaze. Try and have that straight up toward the ceiling there. Okay? And make sure that your right shoulder is engaged and you're actively pressing the ground away. Good. Exhale that hand down. Inhale, three-legged dog. And then exhale, lunge. And inhale to a warrior 2, Vidabhadrasana 2. Okay, so again, we're just going to go over the basics because no matter how many times I repeat it, I see people in class still not quite doing the posture optimally. So front foot and knee straight ahead, knee over the heel, thigh approaching parallel. May not get there, but that's the direction it's moving in. It's moving closer and closer to that. The pelvis, the chest are opening to the left wall. The arms are reaching out, and that'll bring them parallel with the ground. Okay, and the breath is deep, rhythmic, and slow. And our gaze is out over the front fingertips. Okay, from here, we inhale up into Stupa, which is just a transition, very simple. It's not really going to do much of anything. Exhale, warrior 2 at the back. Good, let's repeat that. Inhale up, exhale, warrior 2 at the front. A couple more times, inhale and exhale. And then this time, let's inhale up, warrior 2, and exhale to the goddess, also known as fierce angle. So same concept, knees and toes point out in the same direction, knees over the heels, thighs approaching parallel, and then our arms are mirroring the legs. Now again, posture like this in warrior 2 are strength poses, which means psychologically we need to believe that we're strong. Otherwise, you're going to do this, you're going to do this after a few seconds. Does this look strong or powerful? Or does this look kind of like bored and impatient, right? Waiting, right? Doesn't this, just the body language, if you saw me like this, what do I look like? Strong and powerful? This, to me, looks way more strong and powerful. In the Taoist tradition, it's called horse stance, and it's a posture that's used to cultivate power, strength, determination. Again, third chakra, right? Solar plexus right there. Okay, let's inhale up and we exhale, cartwheel down, bottom of the push-up. And we'll explore that sequence on the other side. So we start with feet touching. Inhale, left leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale that knee to the ground. And then inhale, coming into a modified side plank. So we do this one a lot. It should be second nature to you at this point. And again, if you're having any issues with your shoulders, please reach out, let me know so we can figure out the safe and effective way for you to approach this. So again, this is your default. If the versions we do later are a little too much, unsafe for you at this point in time, then you will repeat this version. You just default back here, okay? Let's take a deep breath. We'll exhale that hand down. Inhale, left leg up and back. We exhale and lunge, and we inhale to our warrior 2. Now, when we're doing warrior 2 properly, one other thing I want to mention is this. Notice my shoulders are above my hips, right? I see this a lot in class, like almost every time I teach it. I see somebody doing this, like, where are you going? All right, you might be looking forward and you might be lunging, but why are you leaning forward? So usually this just shows that we're not really aware of what's happening with our bodies. So just bring those shoulders back directly over the hips. So this is straight up and down right now. There's no leaning forward or anything like that, okay? So we're right here. Front leg is working, back hip is getting a little bit of a stretch, arms are getting tired. It's part of it. It's how we get them stronger. Okay, so that's called your medial deltoid muscle that you're tiring out here. Okay, inhale, deep breath in, and exhale, back of the mat, warrior. So feel those legs as you come into it. Inhale, fill the lungs, and exhale, empty completely. A few more times, inhale, and exhale. And then this time, inhale up, and then exhale back into your goddess or fierce angle. And again, posture, again, requires a certain psychological mindset, you might say. And then likewise, when we take a posture, it allows us to cultivate that. So again, a posture like this is all about fierceness, strength, power, being able to hold in the face of adversity. It's used, again, in the yogic tradition and the Taoist tradition to cultivate that. So that's not a quality you have innately. You're going to find this very difficult to do. How do you change that? By holding it. By getting to the point where you're like, I can't do this anymore, and then saying, wait a second, I think I can. Right? Just maybe changing up that inner speak. I think I can hold it a little longer. Let me take one more breath and see what happens. And usually you find you take one more breath, still okay. Take another breath. Yeah, I'm still okay. It's intense. Oh, I'll take another breath. Yeah, I'm still okay. Somehow, magically. So that voice in our head isn't necessarily speaking truth. Right? When it says, I can't do it anymore, if we just listen to that, very often we're not actually aligning with reality and truth. Okay, inhale, deep breath, and exhale, cartwheel down, bottom of the push-up. So just because our mind tells us we are weak, we are injured, we are somehow, in other ways limited, it doesn't mean it knows what it's actually talking about. That's the interesting thing about being a human being. We have this voice in our head that is an expert on all things. It's constantly telling us what is and isn't possible. But when we question it and we explore, we find that it doesn't necessarily know what it's talking about in reality. Okay? All right, great work. Let's inhale toes, exhale front edge of the mat. Inhale standing back bend, up and back. And exhale forward fold. Inhale to the half lift. And we exhale bottom of the push-up. Inhale up dog. And then exhale back to downward dog. All right, great work, everybody. Let's continue on now. So feet touch. We inhale right leg up and back. And then this time, exhale the foot about halfway. Roll onto the outside edge of your left foot and inhale, raise the right arm above the left arm. So a little more work now in that left shoulder. Again, the arms are in the 6 o'clock position, gaze is up. Left waist is long. Okay, so we're trying to create length there. And you can feel those muscles engaged. If you touch there, you feel how hard they are because they're working. That's exactly what we want. Good, let's exhale that hand down. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale, lunge, and we inhale to a warrior two. Take a breath. With the next inhale, we come up to stupa, and then exhale to goddess. Inhale back up. Exhale, warrior two at the back. Good, let's repeat that. So inhale up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale up. Exhale, warrior two. Good. Inhale, reverse or peaceful warrior. So we add the stretch here. We were just strengthening the sides, and now we're stretching them. So I'm reaching back, creating as much length as I can on that right side as I can. I'm looking up again, rolling that shoulder back. I'm breathing deep. Good. Inhale up and exhale, cartwheel down. bottom of the push-up, make your way to downward dog. Okay, side 2, feet touch, inhale left, exhale lunge. Lunge halfway. I knew I was skipping a step there. And then let's inhale that left arm up. So we're coming into the modified side plank. And again, if this is too much, you just drop that bottom knee, straighten that top leg, right? So you know how to make it safer and easier. Good, deep breath, exhale that hand down. Inhale the leg up and back. Exhale, lunging. And then inhale to your warrior 2. Take a breath. And then inhale, stupa. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, warrior 2 on the exhale. Let's repeat. So inhale up. Exhale, goddess. Inhale up and exhale, warrior 2. Good. Inhale, reverse or peaceful warrior. So try and keep this knee lunging, the front leg. Because again, what do I see in class? Looks something like that. See it all the time. Okay, so can we keep that knee and that leg active, reaching back? Good. Inhale up and exhale, cartwheel down, bottom of the push-up. All right, inhale to your toes, exhale, front edge of the mat. Let's inhale, standing back bend. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, crow, or maybe handstand, and exhale, bottom of your push-up. Making your way to downward dog. All right, let's do one more sequence, flow sequence. And let's do one more side plank. So let's take a look at the traditional side plank, classic side plank, feet touch. I roll onto the edge of my left foot. And again, you can see my body is straight, not arched, right? I see people doing this. That's easier than this, okay? So again, if I need to make it easier, I'm gonna go here. I'm not gonna cheat the form of the posture. There's a right way to make postures easier, and then there's an incorrect way, okay? So let's do it the right way. Good, inhale, lift that top leg, exhale, lunge, and inhale to a warrior 2. Take a breath. Good, let's put it all together. So inhale up, stupa, exhale, goddess. Inhale up. Exhale, back of the mat, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse or peaceful warrior, stretch your side. Exhale, warrior 2. Let's repeat that. Inhale up. Exhale, goddess, feel those legs. Inhale, back up. And exhale, warrior 2 at the front. Good. Inhale, reverse or peaceful warrior. Now, with the next exhale, come into this position to start. This is called an extended side angle, okay? Now again, I'm looking up, the shoulders back, my right waist is long, chest is open. And then from here, if possible, I bind the leg, which means I clasp fingers or wrists behind my back. Now from there, stepping the back foot forward, I begin to stand up on the free leg and I take the bound leg up with me. I'm not mirroring you, just FYI, okay? All right, from there, I can begin to straighten the free leg as much as possible. And that's called bird of paradise. So it's balance, it's flexibility, strength in the standing leg. It's quite a challenging posture. So do the best you can. Do as many of those steps as you can, and then you just stop where you feel like you're losing control, or you no longer feel safe, or you're breathing erratically, that's when you stop there and you get control of your breath. You get control of your sense of safety, right? You just rein everything in. You don't need to go further than that, okay? Even if you can. Okay, exhale, bottom to push up. Let's explore the other side. So we begin feet touching, and then this time rolling to the right side. Good, take a deep breath. Lift that leg, exhale, lunge, and inhale to warrior two. Take a breath there. All right, from here, we inhale up to stupa. Exhale, goddess. Inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, warrior two. Inhale up. Exhale, goddess. Inhale up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse or peaceful warrior. And then exhale, extended side angle. But ideally, we don't stop here today. Okay, so again, I'm going to encourage you all, try the bind. You could even use a strap for that if necessary. So again, I roll that shoulder back. I'm looking up. And then from there, I step it in. And then begin to attempt to stand up on my free leg. Try and stand as tall as I can, and then I can work the flexibility by straightening that leg. And you'll notice my leg doesn't go all the way straight. I have limited hamstring flexibility in my legs, and I've been stretching them for forever. So I don't know if that's ever going to completely go away. And that's not the point, right? Yoga isn't ballet. It's not about making pretty straight lines, although a lot of people get confused about that point. Okay, great work. Let's go ahead and vinyasa back to down dog. And then we'll take a breather in child pose. Good. From there, let's come forward onto our belly. And we'll do a few back bends here. First one, very simple. One of my favorite back bends because it's so simple and yet it's so effective. Again, if you think about from a physiological Western perspective, why even do a back bend? What's the point? What benefits am I getting? Well, there are two main benefits. Not looking at the energetics, just the physical part of it, strengthening the muscles in the back and strengthening the spine, as well as, I'd say, creating flexibility in the spine, okay? So this first one, mostly about strengthening the back. Just lay flat on your belly, and then with the next inhale, just gonna lift everything as high as we can lift it. And that's gonna engage the kinetic chain of muscles on the back of our body that we call a posterior chain. So again, it doesn't need to be complicated to be effective. In fact, many of the simplest exercises and spiritual practices are the ones that are the most effective. Good, exhale, come on down. I'll just mention here that sometimes people come up to me after class and they're like, do you have a stretch for my neck? Or do you have a stretch for my back? Or do you have a stretch for my shoulder? Because I have pain. And they think that stretching is always the answer to fixing pain. But sometimes the answer is actually strengthening. I know that might sound counterintuitive. because you might feel like you have soreness or stiffness or pain because, you know, the muscle's tired. And you're right, it is tired, but it's tired because it's not strong. So part of the reason I think my back is getting better is I've started focusing more on strengthening it. All right, let's bring our arms out like the letter T. We bend those knees and just drop the feet side to side. Just a gentle counter stretch. And then we press back to kneeling. So it's called Vajrasana, sitting on your heels like that. Hands to your thighs. So this is actually meditation posture. So if you like to meditate, this is one position from which you can meditate if you choose to. But we'll use it just as a sort of a base in which to do our next back bend. So let's draw those hips up above the knees, and we'll have our heels directly behind the knees. So the knees are about hip width and the feet are also about the same width. Now I like to tuck my toes because I will try and grab my heels doing this posture. Hands to my low back, pinkies touching, elbows in toward one another. And then I lift, press my hips forward, lift my heart. Begin going up and over an imaginary beach ball, if you will. And then I can grab the heels and let my chin drop back if that feels okay on my back and my neck. Good. Inhale, let's come on up. And exhale back to our meditation posture, feeling the rebound there. So what do you feel physically, energetically, emotionally, mentally? So physically, I feel heat and I feel my heart. I can literally feel my heart pounding in my chest. All right, very good. So from here, let's go ahead and cross those. Actually, come forward to a tabletop. Knees together. Let's just drop our hips a few times. Just loosen up the back. Again, everyone, I can't emphasize enough how happy I am with the improvements in my back, how much better it feels these days. So really, really, things that used to always produce some pain now are completely pain-free. Okay, we cross those ankles, bring our legs out in front of us. Let's see how we're doing on time. So let's do one more back bend. So inhale, arms out in front, exhale, gradually coming back. The reason I'm doing so many back bends is they're so valuable for us in our yoga practice. It's not to say the other things we do aren't, but in terms of movements that we get throughout the day, we tend to not get any back bending. So of all the movements we could do more of, I feel like this is one that is super valuable for us. Okay, so on your back, you can have your feet again about hip distance, and we'll start with a bridge. So we lift those hips up, take our hands underneath us, interlace fingers, shrug those shoulders under. And this is the bridge. Okay, and you're squeezing your butt, you're lifting the hips. And then if you want to do wheel, bring your hands out alongside your head and then pressing into the hands and the legs, you lift up. Good. Exhale, gradually down. Knees drop in. Deep breath in, exhale with a sigh. Okay, let's let those feet Just gently drop side to side. And then let's explore inverting. So hands under the hips. Make sure I have room here. Don't want to hit the gong unintentionally. So hands under hips, legs straight up. That is called Saral Viparita Karani. And I hope you can see this is a very, very safe, simple inversion. Okay, so it's not complicated. There's not a lot of stress on the spine or the neck. You could even prop your legs on a wall or put a block under your hips. Okay, so this is a good, again, level 1, stage 1. If I'm not comfortable inverting, if I have injuries, issues, then I stay here. Okay, next level is this, the Halasana, plow pose. So traditionally your feet would actually touch the ground. That's not important. Okay, so if your feet are in the air, that's okay. And traditionally you interlace fingers, join the palms, and shrug the shoulders under. Okay, so it looked like that. Now this is much more intense, okay? And here is a place where I start to feel my back again. Okay, so again, that's how I know I'm not completely healed, is there's still positions where I'll feel my back. Now, next level, grabbing the hips or the back, I take my legs up, and that is called Sarvangasana or Ardha Sarvangasana. I'm doing Ardha Sarvangasana, half shoulder stand. And the reason I'm doing that is my neck does not allow me to stack my hips directly over my shoulders. I would break my neck, but some people can. Okay, so again, we're not all the same in terms of our range of motion. There's no one standard that everybody can do. All right, bending the knees on our exhale, we gradually unwind from that. And take your legs out straight. Go ahead and flex the feet. Slide your hands under the buttocks. And then pressing into the elbows, we lift up and just arch the spine here. Good. Inhale, come on up, and exhale back down. Let's draw those legs in. We'll make a few circles. Rock side to side, forward and back. Beautiful. And then with the arms out to the side, we'll drop the knees to the left as we look to the right, coming into a very simple supine twist here. So look away from the knees, close the eyes, and let your breath be natural. Again, this is a movement that up until just a few weeks ago created a lot of pain for me. I would feel a lot of pain in my back. Now I can tell there's a little bit of discomfort, but it's very marginal, much, much less than it was just a few weeks ago. So again, everybody, I hope you are hearing my message. Many of you are very young, so you may not have issues like this, but if you live long enough, you will encounter one day some kind of chronic pain, most likely. And the message I'm hoping to get across to you all is that it is possible to heal. But a big part of that is believing that it is possible, because once you believe it, you will explore different options. If you don't believe it's possible, for whatever reason, maybe a doctor told you it's not possible, or someone else did, but if you believe that, then you will stop looking. All right, let's inhale back through center and exhale to the other side. And I'll just say that when I say it's possible to heal, I mean without surgery. I'm not saying there aren't cases where surgery is necessary, but again, according to friends of mine who are in medicine, surgery is often overused, and the outcomes are often, for many things dealing with musculoskeletal issues, the outcomes are not very good, which means the chance of success are low. So keep that in mind. Modern medicine is not great when it comes to musculoskeletal pains. A lot of times these are just addressed with painkillers. So overall, just dulling the pain receptors rather than addressing a particular, issue. So again, for me, a pain in my back is like a light on my dashboard, and it's saying, hey, Doug, something is wrong here. You need to investigate that and fix it. And I think my theory, my idea is if I can keep doing that as I age, I can keep my body in tip-top form. If I start taking painkillers to dull the pain, I'm taking the light bulb out on the dashboard. I'm not addressing the issue. And, eventually my engine will fail because there's one problem and then another problem and then another problem. And then that causes another problem. And you begin to have this domino effect of the body beginning to degenerate. So for me, any pain, again, you need to investigate physical possibilities, but also mental, emotional repression could be another cause. Okay, inhale back to center. Let's grab the soles of the feet. Happy baby. So again, if you've explored physical healing, you've done everything you know how to do, it's not getting any better, then you may want to get with someone who knows how to do somatic work around emotions. So somatic means body-oriented work. If you have a trauma, physical or emotional in your past, that very well may be showing up as chronic pain for you, okay? All right, let's unwind. Shavasana, feet apart, palms up, head centered, chin tucked in slightly. Set a timer for 5 or 6 minutes. You can go longer. You're always welcome to stay there longer, but I wouldn't do shorter. That's my advice to you. Don't cut that 5 minutes short.